So, ladies and gentlemen, it's pretty much official. The game that was supposed to bring down Call of Duty is gonna get taken down, and the game that I'm referring to is XDefiant. It's really unfortunate. I was one of the players that pretty much played this game since launch, and I stopped playing it after like 2 months. It was a game that probably would have been super super good a couple of years ago, but unfortunately it just never really took off. It never really took off. This game had a whole lot of issues off the rip, and I feel like they just didn't listen. They didn't listen like the first couple of weeks, the first couple of days that XDefiant was released, and they just waited too long to make adjustments. Let's go ahead and read this from Mark Rubin, and we'll talk about it after. Hello XDefiant fans, I am unfortunately here today to announce that XDefiant will be shutting down. Starting today, December 3rd, 2024, new downloads and player registrations will no longer be available. We will still release our Season 3 content in the near future, exact date to be determined, and the servers will remain active until June 3rd, 2025. That is really, really unfortunate. I still know a lot of people right now that still play the game religiously, but in my honest opinion, man, it's just I don't know. It was lacking content. That's the main thing that got me to stop playing the game. There was of course some cheese characters and whatnot, but for me specifically, I just felt like it was missing something. Of course the game modes that they had were okay, but they just felt in a way, I don't know, like outdated. It just felt like game modes that have been around before, and they just never really took off for me specifically. I don't know. I understand why this game failed, if I'm just being completely honest, and I feel like the main reason was because there was just a lack of depth, if I'm just being honest, in terms of like game mode and what to do in the game. But anyways, for those who purchased the Ultimate Founders Pack, you'll receive a full refund. Players who made any purchases within the last 30 days will also be fully refunded. Those refunds should happen automatically within 8 weeks of today, and you can find more details on our official website, xdefiant.com. So for those of you guys that bought that, make sure you guys stay aware of all that. A few years ago, Ubisoft and the SF dev team embarked on a bold adventure to develop a new arcade shooter called XDefiant, and I feel like that's where they messed up, man. It's because the arcade type style game was already being dominated, and that was by Call of Duty. It's really, really, really hard to compete against. It's really super, super hard to compete against like Call of Duty, man, because Call of Duty just has, at this point, just endless resources. Like they're like the king of this kind of style of game, the arcade shooter type style, and it's just really hard to compete against it. It was from the start an incredible challenge. Not only were we trying to shake up the genre by removing skill-based matchmaking, which is a great thing, something that hopefully Call of Duty implements later on in the future, is removing skill-based matchmaking, because I think that this is one of the best things about XDefiant, that pretty much anybody who's played the game would agree to, while bringing back a more old school arcade shooter experience. But we were also diving into a high risk, high reward realm of free to play, and for that I want to applaud not only the dev team but also Ubisoft leadership for taking that chance. I think that like I said, the arcade type shooter style gameplay is being dominated, and that's Call of Duty. Really hard to compete against them, but also the old school arcade shooter experience, I feel like it's dying out. It really is. I feel like most games nowadays, you have to come with something else. Like I think that XDefiant would have done a great job, doing something like a battle royale or something. I don't know, just something else besides like the regular stuff. I know everybody wanted like the team deathmatch and like the bootleg, like search and destroy. Like, why couldn't they add other game modes? Like, like, I don't know, like a battle royale. I think a battle royale in XDefiant would have been super freaking fun. I think maybe adding like even a bootleg zombie mode would have been extremely fun. I just felt like the depth in this game was just non-existent. I feel like the experience was super repetitive. It was super repetitive, and it was something that we haven't seen before. And I think that that's the main thing about it. You know, I feel like the concept of XDefiant having like all those different classes was pretty cool and pretty neat, but it's just not different enough. It wasn't bold enough. You know what I'm saying? I feel like for those reasons, this game eventually died out, and you know, it reflected the fact that people just stopped playing the game altogether. But in the end, I think what really killed the game is the fact that it was saying that this was supposed to be a COD killer, that this was supposed to take down Call of Duty. Did it have potential? 110% it did. I feel like in the, you know, in the early days, it was pretty fun. Was it repetitive? Hell yeah, but it had a ton of potential. But with that being said, I feel like the biggest mistake that it made was the fact that it was supposed to be this Call of Duty killer, that it was supposed to be a game that was supposed to take down Call of Duty. And they did some great things, you know, like I said, the skill-based matchmaking, not making it a thing in XDefiant was a great thing. I applaud them for doing so, but at the same time, they were setting the expectations way too damn high. Way too damn high. Because I feel like with them saying, or I don't even know if it was them specifically, but the entire community was like, oh, this game is supposed to be better than Call of Duty. It's gonna take Call of Duty down. And when those narratives started running and taking off, it just never really delivered. It never really delivered, and people kind of tuned out really quickly. And I feel like that's the main reason why this game failed. It failed because it failed to live up to the expectation that this game was supposed to be better than Call of Duty, which it wasn't. You know, maybe we didn't give this game enough time. You know, maybe we didn't give this game enough time to develop. But like I said, I feel like the main thing that tore this game down was the fact that the expectations were never met. This game was good. It was okay. Did it feel old? Hell yeah. Did it do some great things? Hell yeah. But unfortunately, it did not live up to the expectations of a lot of people out there whenever it was supposed to be a Call of Duty killer. You know, but aside from that, there was also these kind of small things that turned people off about the game in general. I think one of the most famous ones was the fact that the hit registration in this game was freaking terrible. You could hide behind cover and somehow the bullets would curve and freaking off you. You know, there was also classes that people just didn't enjoy playing against. Like, I think the hacker class with the spider bots was getting an insane amount of hate, and a lot of people were they were getting driven away from the game because of it. Look, in my opinion, I feel like, yeah, the game did a lot of great things, but unfortunately, like I said, they fell short on a lot of stuff. And yeah, it is what it is. I am not at all surprised that this game is getting pulled. But let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. As always, it's a pleasure. Peace out and have a good one.